friends, welcome to my channel where I talk about all things curly hair related and marketing for beauty entrepreneurs. My name is Curly Colleen, and today I'm going to share a little bit more of my story with you than I've really ever shared anywhere else. So today's video is completely unscripted. One of my goals for the new year was to number one, push outside my comfort zone, and number two, start showing up on here a little bit more authentically as far as sharing my story, telling the why behind what I do. And that's been a little bit of a challenge for me. Part of the reason I started really niching down into curly hair care is number one, I obviously love curls, but number two, it gave me the ability to not really tell them much about my story. However, I have to acknowledge that stories are important, and I always love hearing people's stories, where they came from, and why they started different things that they started, especially when it comes to online. So today I'm going to explain a little bit about how my whole curl transformation happened, number one, and number two, how I started sharing it online and built an entire business just around this one idea that you would love yourself more if you learn to love and accept your curly hair or natural hair pattern. Okay, so first of all, I had curly hair since I was born. Growing up, I was totally the girl because back then there weren't that many curly products that always just had an absolute rat's nest on my head. People made fun of me. People called me lion's mane. It was a big joke. I didn't really care that much. And I pretty much wore my hair however it dried for the majority of my childhood. I was a tomboy. I did a lot of running around outside, and as long as it was out of my way, I was happy. Fast forward to college is when I really started getting into taking care of myself more and putting makeup on and all of that kind of stuff. And everyone around me was wearing their hair straight, stick straight. So a fun fact, I actually have a Cuban Spanish bloodline. I am Cuban Spanish and Irish. I know that's totally crazy, but that's actually where my hair pattern comes from. So most of my friends though growing up literally had stick straight, no body in their hair, like the classic American girl, blonde hair, straight hair, or blonde straight hair, right? So all my friends were straightening their hair, and even if they had any pattern in it, they were blowing it out. So naturally, I kind of wanted to fit into that model, and you know, that is, at least back then, was society's textbook model, was like the stick straight hair. It was back in the 90s, early 2000s. And that's when I really started using heat products on my hair and really just decided that I didn't want to wear my hair curly. So fast forward a lot of years, a lot of different experiences, and here I am, a postpartum mom. I had 4 pregnancies in 4 years. I had 1 miscarriage, and then I had 3 natural births. 3 healthy babies, 2 natural births. Anyway, at that point, I was the most depleted I've ever been in my entire life. I wasn't sleeping through the nights. My heart was completely full with these 3 humans I was blessed enough to bring into the world, but my self-care took an absolute backseat in every way imaginable. I didn't sleep for years. Every single textbook mom, like hot mess mom thing, I didn't necessarily want to be. I was just drowning in motherhood. So after my son was born, I decided I wanted to start doing my hair again. So it was incredibly damaged. I had lost almost all of my curl pattern. I know it sounds crazy because my hair's got a great curl pattern now, but it was almost straight. Barely any body at all. I remember crunching it and being shocked that it had no body. And my sister's a hairstylist, and so I told her I wanted to go platinum blonde. And she was like, I don't know about this. I don't know how light it can take you. So I was like, no, I really want this. I had a short cut. She took me pretty light, and I kept going back and getting my hair lighten, till finally, this was the breaking point. She said, I can't lighten your hair anymore or it's going to melt off your head. And at that point, I was like, okay, something is going to have to change. So I did a lot of soul searching and, in the pockets of time, tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my hair. Meanwhile, the other parallel to this story is that I fell into online marketing somewhere right after I had my second baby, actually. I had a friend who was doing something online and it looked really cool. And I got into online marketing and I just loved the idea of it. I love the idea of connecting with people all around the world from your phone. I love the idea of being able to promote products or, write content and have it seen all over the world. So meanwhile, I had been working, I built a couple small businesses selling actual products that did really well, but it just really wasn't sustainable with the way my family was growing. It was just honestly too much legwork, logistical stuff going on. So I kind of shut those down, but I did end up starting a blog. So I started a blog, didn't know what I was going to write about. I mostly just wrote about mom life and, house cleaning, stuff like that I was into. And I just love sharing my ideas. So meanwhile, my sister's telling me like, hey, we can't lighten your hair anymore. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this curly girl method thing. It's all over Instagram. I've been seeing a lot of it. I know I used to have curly hair. I probably don't have it anymore. By the way, I had pretty bad receding hairline. Like this has grown in a lot. So I was definitely bald. I mean, there was a time when there was no hair and this came back very far. Like I can't even believe how much my hair has grown in since then. So in my hair, I have postpartum balding, tons of hair loss. Like my hair was shedding in the showers on a freakish level. It was really bad. So, I'm like, hey, I'm going to start this curly girl thing. I'm just going to share about it on my blog. So I start this blog. I forget what my exact first blog post was. I'd have to look it up. It was something super basic about the curly girl method and it starts to take off. So I'm like, okay, maybe this would be a great way to track my progress. So I start sharing on my blog. I also started my Instagram account and slowly I started getting traction on this. I started getting traction on Pinterest. If you go into Pinterest and just type in 3A curls, my head will pop up all over the place. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like this is something other people are struggling with. I can share my journey and be accountable. It's growing my blog and also really helping me transform my hair. So through a series of different events, I was able to grow that blog to over 100,000 views every single year and grow an email list of almost 14,000 people and grow my Instagram account. And now I'm growing my YouTube account all around this one idea of just simplifying curly, wavy hair care. And that's where I am today. Now, as far as the way that I've built this business and what I do, I sell a lot of different online courses, online PDFs, online, different downloads, which if you're interested in my Online Curls Academy, you can just check the link below. I'll link it there for you. It's just an entire online course on how to completely transform your curls from A to B. Anyway, I had been in the hair industry for years. I went to cosmetology school 10 years ago. And while I was there, shortly after I started school and actually got on the floor, was taking clients, I remember thinking to myself, like, this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable for a mom who wants to be able to work at her own time. And so that is where I came up with this idea of blogging, connecting, building an email list, building an audience, and selling online products, because the ultimate goal for me within the business side of it was to create passive income that I could be making on autopilot even when I was doing all the mom things. I actually started my blog on my phone while I was nursing my baby in a dark corner, like in the middle of the night. It's crazy. And now it's grown exponentially since then. And so as far as the transformation of I started I just want to get healthy hair and I don't want to have my hair falling out. And that turned into wow, my curls are coming back. And then, a lot of times on the curly girl method or even with your curl journey, you'll have a little relapse because you don't really know what you're doing. And so after the first 6 months, my hair started to relapse. I wasn't seeing the results I wanted and I was kind of bummed. And so it caused me to do more digging and more findings and more experimenting. And that's when I truly learned all the ins and outs of curly hair care and that how possible it is to transform your hair. And also just the mindset shift in accepting and embracing your authentic, natural, beauty. And honestly, I feel like the more our society is progressing, the more we are seeing a push for effortless, authentic, natural beauty. I couldn't be happier to see that. And so now I straighten my hair once over Christmas. I always straighten it for a Christmas Eve service at our church. And I straightened it and I was like, I used to think I missed straightening it. And now it's to the point that I'm like, I could never go back to using heat tools and damaging my hair, all for the sake of just changing your natural curl pattern. Or maybe it's because you don't know how to fully embrace it or fully take care of it yet. So yeah, it's been weirdly a life-changing journey. I now more than ever am such a big proponent of encouraging others to wear their hair naturally curly. And I do that by creating content all over. So you can connect with me on my blog, here on this channel, or on my email list. And you can also join my online Curls Academy. So this is just a little bit about me. I'd love to get to know you as well. Let me know in the comments what your story is when it comes to your hair type and embracing your curls.